Participe Présent in French with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. Participe Présent is for most of the words ending in en, A-N-T in French. For example, I saw Pierre eating a hamburger. J'ai vu Pierre mangeant un hamburger. As you can see here, this verb, mangeant, A-N-T, the participe présent, matches this ing verb. But remember that it is not always the case, and we are going to see why in this lesson. So first, we use the participe présent in French to translate the English which or who plus the verb. Let's take an example. The children who shout too loudly will be punished. So it's like a statement, like a rule in a school. The children who shout too loudly will be punished. So here we have who and the verb. In French, we can use, of course, the translation word for word. Les enfants qui crient trop fort seront punis. No problem, it's correct French. But we can also use the participe présent here and say les enfants criant trop fort seront punis. Criant, it is the participe présent of the verb crier. Let's take another example. Tick the box that matches your choice. Thing that you can read, for example, on official documents. The same thing, here we have that and the verb. So we can, of course, again translate word for word, cochez la case qui correspond à votre choix, but we can also use the participe présent in French, cochez la case correspondant à votre choix. Correspondant is le participe présent, and here, as you can see, there is no e at the end, even if the word case is feminine, because correspondant is a verb. To translate matches. It is not an adjective. We will see the point in a few minutes. Finally, let's take our first example. I saw Pierre eating a hamburger. So the real sentence in English is I saw Pierre who was eating a hamburger. So that's why, because we have who and a verb that we can use in French, le participe présent. J'ai vu Pierre mangeant un hamburger. Of course, we can also say qui mangeait because it's the past. So let's remember that for the first point, which are who plus verb, when we speak, actually, we prefer to use the expression qui in French, because the participe présent here is a bit formal, or as you have just seen, we also use it for general statements or rules in school on official documents or things like that. It's good to use le participe présent for the first rule. Part 2. We use the participe présent in French to translate the English by plus verb in ing. For example, we learn by making errors. So here we have absolutely everything. We have by and the verb in ing. So in French, we will say on apprend en faisant des erreurs. So we translate by with the verb en. By becomes en. On apprend en faisant des erreurs. To translate by making. Another example, she improved her French by speaking a lot. So you know now how to translate it. Elle a amélioré son français en parlant beaucoup. The translation of by speaking is en parlant. By working fast, I finished earlier. The same thing. En travaillant vite, j'ai fini plus tôt. Okay? We also use the participe présent in French for simultaneous actions. I work while listening some music. So you are working and at the same time you are listening some music. So simultaneous actions. In French, we use the participe présent to translate the sentence, and to translate while, we'll use en. Je travaille en écoutant de la musique. So it's the same translation that I work by. Actually, I work while listening. Je travaille en écoutant de la musique. Let's take some comparison. You remember our first sentence, I saw Pierre eating a hamburger. So we say that we can translate it by j'ai vu Pierre mangeant un hamburger. But if we have a simultaneous action now, I saw Pierre while eating a hamburger. In this sentence, you saw Pierre and you were eating a hamburger, not Pierre. So in French, the translation of this sentence is j'ai vu Pierre en mangeant un hamburger, because there is a simultaneous action. So you can see there is just a word as a difference between these two sentences. J'ai vu Pierre mangeant un hamburger. In this sentence, Pierre was eating the hamburger. But in the second sentence, it's you were eating the hamburger. Okay? Participe présent in French can become an adjective. In English too, but not all the time. And we are going to see that it's not a rule for all the participe présent, but for some can become an adjective. A funny book, for example, in French is un livre amusant. Amusant, it's an adjective coming from the verb amuser. And here it's an adjective coming from le participe présent. Encouraging results, here, as you can see, we have an ing form. The same thing in French, des résultats encourageants. ANT coming from the verb encourager, to encourage. And here, because it's an adjective and résultat is plural, we have S, but just for adjectives. An arduous work, the same thing, un travail fatigant, coming from the verb fatiguer, to be tired, to be bored. An arduous activity, activity in French is feminine, so we will say une activité fatigante, because that is an adjective, though there is an agreement between the adjective and the noun, une activité fatigante. And finally, the winning number, winning, its ing form, in French, le numéro gagnant. Let's take some comparison. We say that fatigant or fatigante is the adjective coming from the verb and coming from the participe présent. But the participe présent, the real participe présent in French, it's a bit different. Let's see it. It is fatigant with a U, but exactly the same pronunciation of the masculine form. Fatigant, fatigant. Just if you add a E, actually you have fatigante here. And here, because it's a verb, it's not possible. Okay, so sometimes there is a difference between the adjective and the verb. Une activité fatigante, so there is a E because this is an adjective. The adjective is related to the noun activity, but here, une activité fatigant les yeux is different. It's word for word is an activity that can tide your eyes. So it's a verb. So that's why there is no agreement here, une activité fatigant les yeux, and that's why we have a U. Actually, the correct translation would be a nice train activity. Une activité fatigant les yeux. Le participe présent can be a noun also in French. Les étudiants, the students, we have a feminine form, les étudiantes. Les gagnants, the winners, or les gagnantes for the feminine form, and so on. Remember that not all the participe présent in French can be nouns. How to form the participe présent? We use the new form of the verb, the present tense of the indicative. Manger, to eat. So to say we eat, we say nous mangeons. We drop the end, ONS, and we add ANT, and we have our participe présent, mangeant. Finir, to finish. We finish is nous finissons. We drop the NONS, and we have finissant, our participe présent. It's the rule to form the participe présent in French. There are some differences now. We are going to see the differences between English and in French to be sure to translate using the correct words. We don't use the participe présent in French to translate the present continuous. In English, I'm reading, it's the present continuous because you are doing it's presently. I'm reading. You have ing form, but in French, we don't use the participe présent for this form because we say je suis en train de lire, or even shorter, je lis. So nothing to do with the participe présent. Another difference, we don't use it after verbs like to love or to enjoy. Because in English, for example, you can say I enjoyed or I loved reading this book and you have the ing form. But in French, no. We just use the infinitive form of the verb. J'ai apprécié lire ce livre. So we say in French, actually, I enjoyed to read this book. We don't use the participe présent to translate expressions like living our dreams, working in a waste of time, and things like that. Living our dreams, again, we use the infinitive form of the verb. And we say vivre nos rêves. Working is a waste of time. Travailler est une perte de temps. Okay? So that's all actually what you have to know about le participe présent in French. If you need some exercise, you can go to the website FrenchSpanishOnline.com. It's free. So thank you for watching this slide with me. C'est fini. See you next time. Au revoir.